I love that music. Hello and welcome to Job Talk with SP Jain School of Global Management. I'm Dr. CJ, your host, and we're broadcasting from the Sustainable Business and Venture Capital Department at SP Jain's Singapore campus. This show is a tribute to Car Talk, but gives you a chance to ask questions about jobs, work, careers, and life mission. So if you have a work-related question or problem on any topic, doesn't have to be today's theme, just send an email to jobtalk@spjain.org and our secret moderator will pass it to us. You're anonymous. The moderator's anonymous. Hey, I don't get to be anonymous, nor does our speaker. Doesn't matter. We'll either help you solve your problem or at least help you laugh and know you're not alone. Now, first, time for an interesting news item. Did you know? John D. Rockefeller was once the richest man in the world and the first billionaire. By age 25, he controlled one of the largest oil refineries in the US. By 31, he was the world's largest oil refiner. By 38, he controlled 90% of the oil refined in the US. As a young man, every decision, attitude, and relationship was tailored to create personal power and wealth. At age 53, he became ill. His entire body was racked with pain. He lost all his hair, couldn't sleep, and could only digest milk and crackers. He no longer smiled, and nothing in life meant anything to him. Doctors declared that he had a year to live, at most. He awoke one morning having dreamt about not being able to take it with him and called his attorneys, accountants, and managers, announcing he would channel his assets into hospitals, research, and mission work. They established the Rockefeller Foundation. It fostered the discovery of penicillin, cure for malaria, tuberculosis, and diphtheria, and something quite surprising. John became happy, healthy, grateful, and giving. He began to attend church and became a custodian, cleaning the church building regularly until he died. As a follow-on, Andrew Carnegie wrote about his life being divided into 3 stages: learn, earn, and return. He was the 3rd richest man ever, first for a long time, and his foundation is as famous as Rockefeller's. Now, given that amazing news item, which doesn't have to be new to be news, hello and welcome to Job Talk. And we've got a fabulous guest today, Rajeev Srivastava, the chairman of Basil Technology Partners. Now, the theme for the day is not just startups, not just success, but success with significance. How might we use some of these models to build wealth, and who else has done so? Rajeev, we're following on to a fantastic dinner conversation that you and I had at TIE, the Indus Entrepreneurs. Everybody check out tie.org. And you had some particularly telling information about the Tata family and how powerful the model is. So should we learn, earn, and return? Or is it the case, as Ricardo Semler has said, if you need to give back, You probably took too much. What's your take on all this?
Thank you, CJ. Of course, we had a wonderful dinner conversation, and thanks for sharing in so much detail about the amazing, transformation and life experience of the founder of Rockefeller Group. And this very simple statement, you put it in three very powerful words. Learn, earn, and return. And it's partly like the country that I come from, India originally. They have what is called uh, as the first 25 years you are expected to learn, and that's what we call varnashram dharma, where they said that, look, the first 25 years you learn, the next 25 years you earn, as you nicely put it. And then the thought process is, look, whatever you have learned, whatever you've earned, and can you now start with the same drive, with the same passion, and the same purpose that you did your learning and earning. You also look at seeing what you can do with all your skills, with part of your wealth, to give back, to return. So, what you just said truly is something which, many, I'm trying to say, saints of India have tried to tell society to think in these terms. And, that used to be the model for a lot of people, who are entrepreneurs or who are in any field, right? You don't have to just be an entrepreneur. You can still try to do give back through a thought, through any which way you like. And coming to what you mentioned about, uh, both the Tata Group, they actually tried to combine the earn and return in a very unique business model, which in a very small way I have tried to incorporate or feel excited by in my own business journey. So 130 years back, the Tata Group started, and on day zero, if I were to call it, Jamshedji Tata, who's the founder of the Tata Business Group, he decided that he's going to set up his business where 55% or a slightly more, I don't have the exact number, is actually going to be owned by various charities in education, in cancer research, in in very different diverse areas, which are all aimed at, these are NGOs which are doing good work. So they were allocated 55% of the ownership. And so the business family was happy with 45% ownership. And even when they were practically, in one sense, saying, whatever we earn, we have no idea 130 years back whether we're going to be a $500,000, 10 million, or what it has ended up in being a 110 billion plus business empire. And the beauty of that is, there was a report which said in the past 100 years, the group that has done the maximum for charity, of course, Rockefeller is there in the top 10, very, he's equally noble. But the Tata Group has done much more. They have contributed over 100 billion to all multiple charities across the world. And the business is still relevant, and it has produced wealth where the people who have been the heads of Tata Group, whether it's Jamshedji Tata or Ratan Tata, each of them have not let wealth make them proud and condescending. They are wonderful human beings. They live a fairly normal, straightforward life, and the business is continuing even today. So it is not that the next 100 years they have the same ethos, the same principles. And that was something that I found fascinating. And I did my business small journey in 96 in pretty much the same way, where I had no idea. I started the business in Singapore. to be very honest, while I might have made business plans, etc., but I really had no idea that I'm going to be able to, grow this business to a 90 million business when I started it. And but I had the same vision that whatever were my shares, and also a co-investor who was investing with me, I said, look, both of us, 50% of our ownership will go to charity, and that's what made me, I would say, more, focus on the business. It also helped me attract great talent. We grew the business to over 90 million. We merged with the company, did a Nasdaq listing, and then had two investors, and we managed to make sure both of them also exited well.
So now, one of the things that I hear about is trouble managing millennials and Gen Zs and other kinds of quote unquote young folks. Um, Frankly, I've been a millennial for a lot of decades. So one of the things that the younger generation wants is impact. They want success, yes, but they want success with significance. So is it a solid business model to learn, earn, return, or should people be aiming, whether they're individuals or entrepreneurs, to integrate societal value and business value at the same time? Is that a more powerful model than just learn, earn, return?
Actually, they go hand in hand. See, typically, I'll still tell you, even today, sadly, 90 to 99% of the businesses don't really think much about the return. It's always learn, earn, and earn, you know, and
Learn, earn, earn.
just continue to, keep earning. And everyone keeps, looking at the same models. You can look at the same information in two different ways. Like, we can see Rockefeller, we can see Warren Buffett, we can see Bill Gates, who have actually done the learn, earn, and fairly significant return. But
Yeah.
what it also does to a lot of entrepreneurs is, hey, you know what, they did it when they became billionaires, and let me also become a billionaire, then I will do this. And unfortunately, I know several people who even started that way. They've actually become billionaires, but they're saying, hey, wait a minute, I'm only 5 billion. I've got so many others who are 10 and 15 billion, and that continues all the way. And therefore, as if the genuine purpose is return, and somehow if you can integrate it at not post earning, but like the way the Tata Group and the way Rockefeller finally remodeled his business, is that if you have this purpose, then you will automatically be thinking of ethics. Okay, if you have a purpose, you will think of the planet. So the future, entrepreneurs, millennials, as you rightly said, they are not interested in just making money for the sake of making money. For them, how does the process of making money go hand in hand with how we live on the planet? We have only one Mother Earth, and currently, if you look at our, you know, take anything, whether urban living, if half the world population, the way it is going, is going to continue to live in urban societies, there is so much of waste. I mean, there's no city where, I'm trying to say, water is fully recycled. Whereas if you look at lives in villages, and that's why you got a big movement called eco villages. And I happen to be from the I would say from the exit that we did in 2004, we looked at three things to kind of make an impact. One was in the area of what we call in India midday meals. So there are a lot of children who don't go to school because they need to even earn
Yeah.
earn something so that at least they
They've
can
got to,
feed,
they've got to earn a living.
exactly, earn a living. and so they don't go to school. And these are, then children
Yep.
who will become, the problems of society in future, because we haven't been able to, allow them to attend school. So now, by providing them a midday meal, a fully nutritious 5-star quality ISO 9000 kitchen. We started it in 2004. We did our Nasdaq listing in September. November we started this. There is a great person, Dr. Radhakrishna, who spearheaded this, and we started with 26,000 children for 3 years, and today it has, he has, in fact, we only seed funded, for 3 years, but all credit to the person who's heading this NGO, who has scaled it up to 1.2 million meals a day. So that was one thing,
Wow.
we are fortunate to
Wow.
be associated with. It's called Annamrita, and now so many people are helping us. But the seeds and the seed funding happened, the quality happened in 2004. Then we also have done something in the area of a hospital, which also uh, is not just a hospital, but also does a lot for community where patients cannot pay anything, and it also conducts camps in villages all over India. And the third was an eco village, where United Nations. This is actually near Mumbai. If any of you are visiting Mumbai, I would love to have you visit this place, because United Nations gave it the number one award for ecotourism, and you can really feel how everything is made from nature. We don't use concrete. We don't use the typical ways that buildings are built, so that very there is zero waste over there. Everything, every bit of water, rainwater harvesting, everything is recycled, and
And
25 to 50.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Where is this place? Because I want to go, and our listeners are probably going to want to go. Where is it?
Yeah, actually, this
What
is
is this?
it's called gev.org, Govardhan Eco.
GEP.org.
And in 2017, United Nations gave us the number one award. And this is near Mumbai. It's about an hour and a half drive. And since I'm a trustee there, if any of you want to visit it, do let us know. We would be delighted to make all the arrangements for you to come visit. We have students from US who want to know about sustainability, and how society should have a mix of urban and, I'm trying to say, what I call at least as eco-friendly ways of living.
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, I'm looking this up. I found gev.com, and that is not you.
Oh,
Uh,
gv.org, I think. Let me
it's
just
gev.org.
actually, let me just, I haven't actually, uh, G- let me see. I think gv. Go, just a second.
Yep, I'm not able to get it. However, now that we know you and you're affiliated
Yes.
with it, we can link with you on LinkedIn, Rajeev Srivastava, and we can say, hey, where's that GEV thing?
Yeah,
And
it
we,
is ecovillage.org.in. I'll just text it to you.
okay. Ecovillage.org.
.in. I think Dr. Meadows will be back shortly. There's some technology glitch. We hope to have her back soon. Yes.
Okay, I'm in the show. I happen to have taken a marvelous journey all the way to India, to the Eco Village Resort, and then I've come all the way back. Sorry about that. I didn't realize that that would actually kick me out of StreamYard, but it did. Never mind. So, yes, we will go ahead and have a look at that. So, what you're saying is basically you don't have to learn, earn, and return as if you took too much. You can, it's a powerful model to build in the the sustainable elements and the community impact into the business model itself. As a matter of fact, one of the things we talked about was Matsushita. I had given some workshops for the Panasonic Matsushita executives, and there's an institute, the PHP, I think it's Peace and Health for Prosperity or something like that, created by Mr. Matsushita, who understood that after a war or any time of deprivation, business does provide a societal good. It is a positive social impact just by doing good business. And he was a strong proponent of offering goods and services with 10% profit margin. He said, you know, that's enough. It's fine. You don't really need any more. Um, and so one of the things that he was a proponent of was business as a social force. So what you're saying is, you know, I know that in India, 2% of the profits of a corporation have to go to CSR. But it sounds like what you're saying is that, hey, let's do something more powerful, whereby we construct a business model in the new business, whereby a certain portion of revenues goes to social good, or part of the ownership is for social enterprise. Is that correct?
Yes, so I'm actually more suggesting things that can be implemented. So, every business has a founder, a CEO, and if the founder CEO is at least looking to allocate part of his or her ownership, to societal good, because you can't force other shareholders to be doing this, or not. So you can't take companies profits. I have other shareholders, investors. I can't tell them what to do. But if I have these value, if I have these goals, then automatically I will, I'm going to be far more committed to the environment, because it starts with this purpose. In fact, even right now, Dr. Sija, the number one podcast in the world happens to be, on the topic. I mean, his podcast is called On Purpose, and he's a dear friend, Jay Shetty, who has this
Wow.
podcast. And basically, if you have purpose, if there is the why are you doing something? If the why is there, then you are going to automatically, if the why is only to make money and accumulate, and don't even think, a return becomes maybe when I die or something, then
It's
even
not a
if you have
powerful one.
2% CSR, I'm sorry to say that not all companies actually really implement the 2% CSR. You can also, I mean, I know there are a lot of people who are specialized in telling you how to not really do the CSR and use that money for something else, sadly. So, it's all starts with purpose, right? So if the purpose of the founder is whether the 2% CSR is there or not, the most important thing which will attract millennials, where people want to genuinely see how committed is the founder, how committed is the company and its ethos to environment, to employees, to look at everybody as a stakeholder, and not, as you just mentioned, the Matsushita Corporation, where they said, 10% is fairly decent. We should, spend the rest of the money to make to have a better work-life balance for the employees. The employees are extremely important in the company. We should be doing something for the community. The community is as important and integral part of the business as just the business and profits. So when you even start thinking, and I can tell you, I've been on some boards. Not everybody is thinking this way, and I mean, even today, we I'm with you that business does is a force for good, but business in its current form is confounding even the leaders at World Economic Forum, because you are seeing 4 years back you had 500 people who had more wealth than the bottom 3.5 billion. It has come down to 8 people having more wealth than the bottom 3.5 billion people. So, yes, business is a force for good, but the current form of what you call, the current form of capitalism is leading to wealth coming in fewer and fewer and fewer hands. And that's why there's a big movement. And I noticed a question also from Radhika, somebody talking about conscious capitalism. I just met Dr. Raj Sisodia, and the founder of Whole Foods, where conscious capitalism and all its tenets. It's a great book called Conscious Capitalism. I would
Yeah.
recommend to a lot of people. Please try and take a look at that book, and you will see that those companies which are genuinely following conscious capitalism models, where exactly, like Whole Foods really did everything to follow that. Employees are the most important piece of the business, and they were not just in it for profits. Such companies outperform their peers in 15 to 20 years. You'll see they have so there are 22 cases that of companies that have been suggested, and therefore I feel that to be a conscious entrepreneur or a conscious capitalism makes business sense in a long-term sustainable way. It may not make sense in the stock price in the next 6 months or 12 months, but you will find good people. I mean, one very successful industrialist went to India, and he said that the kind of quality of people that are in the Tatas, I mean, we all know how, even when the problem happened in 2611, when Tata Hotel was one of the hotels that were attacked, how the employees did everything to just take care of the guest. That was the entire focus, and that sort of commitment, love, and affection from employees is what makes them a great company.
Absolutely. So, one of the things that happens is if you have a purpose driven organization, you're going to attract purpose driven people and they're values driven. So, when you come across crazy situations like with Johnson and Johnson and the Tylenol disasters, which had never been seen or heard before, it was the values of the founder that pulled them through a crisis that had never been seen anywhere in the world. So a purpose-driven organization, you're saying, then attracts purpose-driven people. And it's the people who keep the company going and who build a company with a better future. I wonder, Sasha's question for Mr. Rajeev is, how will one know if conscious capitalism framework is working for you? And I would be curious, how do you know if it's working for you as a company? And how do you know if it's working for you as an individual? If you're, say, a tithing individual, and tithing is a very old Christian practice to give 10% of your income, and it really focuses your mind on what you're giving to, what you're giving for. And that influences all that you do in the marketplace. So, how do you know if conscious capitalism is working for you as a business and as an individual?
So, the book by Dr. Raj Sisodia, who's a professor at Babson, they have done research on many companies. I mean, he has shortlisted 22 of them and said that any company where the principles of conscious capitalism, which means not just profit, conscious capitalism will not look at just profits as one of the, of course, a business needs profits. There is going to be, but the business needs to focus on people, on our employees. Business needs to focus on environment. Business needs to focus on ethics, and profits will come because like you even mentioned about Johnson and Johnson. By doing that, you will see that that company continues to do well, whereas a competitor, we both will prefer not to name them, that had a similar situation and did not follow.
Oh,
you know
stop it. I'll name them.
sure.
What we're talking about is the Tylenol situation where people were poisoned with cyanide because some crazy guy put cyanide into the capsules of Tylenol. And Johnson & Johnson recalled all bottles everywhere in the world, no matter what, cost no problem. Um, and 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 what they did with in the crisis with the police was, look, we will we will cooperate completely and collaborate with the police and public. Whenever we find out something, we will share it with you. It doesn't matter if it hurts anybody. It doesn't matter if it's only part of the story. Just when we find out anything, we will share it with you. Total transparency. So, total transparency, total recall, total collaboration with the authorities to clear up the mess. And afterwards, they created triple tamper resistant packaging. So whenever you get like a pill bottle or anything at all, notice if it has a sealed top and a tamper resistant lid and a plastic around the lid, it's put there in order to prevent this kind of thing. Now, were there copycats afterward? Crazy people? Yes. So anyone who didn't have triple tamper resistant packaging afterwards was under threat of lawsuit. But the Johnson & Johnson guys who never encountered this before and did all the right things, were they under any threat? No. Okay, so they did all the right things, cleaned up the mess, put in all kinds of safety and quality measures. Then did they actually bring Tylenol back as a brand? It was one of their most profitable brands. Did they bring it back? Yes, indeed they did. Now, another company, Perrier, found benzene in the water. I'm sorry, people. Benzene is not something you want in your water. Like whiskey, bourbon, whatever is fine. But you don't want benzene in your water. Did they do a total recall? No. They did a partial recall. Was it when we find out, you'll find out? No. Was it total cooperation? No. Okay, so they didn't take care of the mess in a fully ethical manner. Did the populace, did the customer base ever trust them fully again? No. They had a dip in sales and they never fully recovered. Now, how did the Tylenol managers know what to do? Did they have really smart MBA teachers? Did they have a fabulous venture capitalist on their side? No. It was the vision of the founder who said the, the health and well-being of the public and our customers is of paramount importance. They took a value that they were given from a founder and put it into action. And that was the thing that saved a multi-billion-dollar brand. So now it sounds to me like you're saying, as a venture capitalist, that values are not just fluffy. Okay, they're actually of value. They can be risk management. They will guide you when you have no guidance. That's fabulous as a founder. What about as an individual person in an individual job? What are you supposed to do to have a purpose-driven career, success with significance?
Sure. And I'll just add one more this thing, that even a company like Nike, see today what's happening, doctor, is that so many, all of us are now more connected. The internet has connected us all, and there is a lot more information available about every company, and therefore you will see that, when you are not following these values, people do come to know, and this word spreads much faster than otherwise. And people are also looking for companies to be thinking in this way. For example, Nike, they what they did is they made shoes from recycled plastic from the ocean. So they managed to connect that. Obviously those shoes would not be, in one sense, as great a quality as the other shoes, but they found that the customers bought much more of those shoes than the others. So you will see that whenever any company is actually trying to think about the environment and put it in action, just like Johnson and Johnson did, you'll see that it does make business sense, and it will continue to make business sense, because today's consumers are much more educated. They know, and this is the way they feel, and we all have to move our companies in this direction. Otherwise we will also go downward. So thankfully, at least we are a much more connected world than ever before. And as an individual, I'll just mention that I honestly can say this for both me and many more conscious entrepreneurs that I have come across. Uh, if I were just trying to do the business in the normal way, I know that I would have at the most been able to create a $5-10 million business. Whereas when the same you, so it is not comparing me with a Bill Gates or me with somebody else, but I'd like to compare every individual with themselves and then see the difference. Like, if the same you has purpose, has a genuine what do you call that, desire to do, and it all starts with a desire. Once you have this desire, you will find the right people coming to you. And if that is very you know very much integrated in every aspect of what you do, then you will outperform yourself. I have seen it with so many. We have also invested in multiple companies, and whenever I've invested in a conscious entrepreneur, when the entrepreneur, I can see the spark in his eye, and I made a $500,000 investment because this guy said, Rajiv, please invest in my company. I'm looking to give half my ownership also to charity. Because I know you as an investor will do that from your investment. And this investor has built a 15,000 employee company, more than 375 million. And you know what? I don't think he or I would have been able to get into SPJ. And we are actually from very simple backgrounds. I'm trying to say I'm not from any great school, either in engineering or in management. I've done engineering in a simple school, but by having this purpose, I've been able to grow a business successfully as an entrepreneur. We've continued to make the investments. Fortunately, we've returned significant value to our investors, including the sovereign fund here in Singapore in the last fund. So I can definitely tell any person, just like it is not just applicable to companies, any person, whether they are somebody just like a village lady called Sindhutai Satpal, who had nothing, but as soon as she brought purpose in her life, she has created a very big difference in an NGO with 1,800 orphans, and she was a lady with practically lost her family. The parents rejected her. She had a child living in a cemetery. I'm just saying it in real quick time. I know we have less time, but as soon as she started building purpose and wanting to do something for others, basically when you are not just about taking, and when mankind moves away from taking to thinking about giving, you will get far more in whatever you do. If you are a professional, you will make the biggest impact. If you are a politician like Mahatma Gandhi, he was a conscious politician. He really cared. He didn't hate people. So even if you can be in such a bad field, none of us wants to be in that field. You will make a difference. You will be remembered, and your actions. You will be both successful, and I'm trying to say, you will see that I have been more successful than what I dreamt of. Like any entrepreneur, if I ask them in the beginning, like I asked this conscious entrepreneur Naveen from Nityo, uh, what do you think, how large a company you will build? And he said, honestly, maybe 10 million. I would be very happy if I can build a company. And today that company is more than 375 million. So I can say that any entrepreneur who on day one told me that he wants to follow the Tata model, the Rockefeller model, the model which quite a few conscious entrepreneurs have done, which is very simple, where I'm looking to take care of my family. I want to do well. I want, earning wealth or doing well in life is not a bad thing, but I want to also I want to just earn and also return. Both of these have to be part of my ethos. Then I will take care of the environment. I will be 10 times more successful. I will attract great people if I'm an entrepreneur. I will make an impact in the business world, because people are looking for employees who have purpose, who have some higher drive, and that's been my experience.
Super. So instead of taking and giving back, how about we just create value for everyone all the way through? And another great example is a place that started with a vision. And the vision was, if you stop giving to the community at any point in time, your enterprise will fall. You must keep giving 24/7. It must never, never, ever stop. And that entrepreneur built businesses with the vision and built the giving at the same time. Those were the Birlas, which everybody in India knows. We've had some beautiful comments from Edie Greenblatt. Dr. Edie has mentioned that the health and well-being of public and the customers is of paramount importance. The stated values of the founders at J&J. Aditya has asked, how can one become a conscious entrepreneur? And I think you've already answered that one while Aditya was waiting for an answer. And it's create the business model to either share a percentage of your earnings or to have a shared ownership model. And if you're doing that, then where your treasure is, your heart will be also. If you fight for yourself in any business situation, you will fight twice as hard, 10 times as hard, if you're fighting for someone else for a noble purpose. And Edie says again, mankind needs to move away from talking to giving. And that's something from Sister Cyril Mooney, actually, in India as well. Her advice to people who wanted to innovate was just do it. Don't wait until you have submitted a business plan and somebody's given you some damn venture capital investment, whatever. Just do it. And if you're doing good work, the resources will come, people will come. In the course of 35 years, she and her team created programs that changed the lives of 450,000 people. Oh, by the way, how much money did Mahatma Gandhi make? I'm sorry, does anybody know? Does anybody care? Okay, so again, we come back to, as a business person, what do you want to do? Do you want to make money for yourself? Do you want to create value for everyone and keep some, which is what entrepreneurs do? Do you want to have impact? Do you want to create something new, which is what innovators do? Nonetheless, unfortunately, we are out of time, so I've got to give a puzzler. So for everyone who was here last week, the puzzler was two women are having drinks at a restaurant and both order iced tea. One is thirsty and has 4 of them. The other is hungry and only has 1. Sadly, the tea was poisoned and the girl who had only 1 died. The 5 tea drinker was fine. Why did one woman die but the other was fine? Because the poison was in the ice. The one who let the ice melt got the poison, and the one who drank the drink with no melting ice, she was fine. Okay, today's puzzler is, and we will share the answer with you next week, all the lights go out and you're in darkness. So obviously this is a crisis management situation. You have 1 match in a matchbox, a candle, a newspaper, and an oil stove. Which one should you light first? Well, it's happened again. As they say on Car Talk, you have squandered another perfectly good hour listening to Job Talk. Thank you to our esteemed guest, Rajeev Srivastava. You have shared some amazing business models, earning models for businesses and for employees, and you have actually seen them work. Thank you. On that note, thank you, Rajeev, for sharing some brilliant ways to impact the world, and we will see all of you next week.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajeev.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Thank you.